What I was doing for the dot a new channel name. Riley, Jonathan Jackson. We are so.
Yeah. Right here. This seems like a good place.
So we'll put anything down. Rebels are at the
Since it is
Pounds by upgrading to full fibre.
sleep in these beds and sleep
But
in islands,
doing-
so we don't have to deal with these zombies anymore. Watch out! Just destroyed him. All right, well, I'm gonna let you sleep
Not
in your
quite,
house,
not
and then I'm gonna room with one of these villagers over here.
Okay. You know, I can't very well go to bed without at least.
It was simple. It was you. Yeah, seriously. From being, I guess, a whole.
One.
It was teamwork. Do you think you could move?
Okay, we need.
Hey, he's like, I hate this bed. Let him jump. Your feet are probably dirty.
Name someone in there.
Oh,
a stone pickaxe on
Oh,
day
have
one.
rebel.
I
So
spawned in and immediately hated my world. Relatable, right? But let
This
me just say,
should
this
be-
was one of the best seeds
oh,
I could
well.
have gotten. You'll find out why soon enough. On the first day, I started gathering some wood, and here's me failing at making planks. I don't know, a wooden pickaxe. And then I started chopping more trees, but I was too short to grab this one, and honestly, I
This-
didn't even think about building up to it. At first glance,
Had-
it was mostly coal. So I didn't have to leave a
Good up.
comment down. And moments later, I found stuff like this thing. But it's
An average 125.
and I still didn't have any shelter yet. I went to the tallest part of
I
the
found-
island, which wasn't very tall. I found a couple more chickens along
Try
the
not.
way, and when I got to the top, I started making some torches with all that coal I gathered earlier. And because I didn't have any shelter yet, I decided to be productive and just cut down some killing. And I tried, and now my health was extremely low. I started racking up some good XP from this. But now that I had some iron, I went ahead and made a shield, along with my first piece of iron armor, the helmet, because that's all I could really make. And I was so glad to have this, because it was going to make surviving the night just a little bit easier. I found a couple sheep, but none of them were the same color. And I couldn't
Okay, so
even get to
the
sheep because
taffy
all the
tool
mobs
is
had just
bigger,
started attacking
but
me
the
out of
size
nowhere.
is
So I left. And
oh,
fortunately, it was
in
almost
a
daylight,
little bit.
so I wouldn't have to deal with them much longer. I ended up going back during the day to try and free the sheep. I say
30.
free the sheep, but the same color. I grabbed this sugar cane.
Oh, I
and
need
continued
to
to
play.
organize
Oh my!
but even two I had wasn't gonna last forever, and
Did you? Sorry.
this huge
No.
hole. I woke up and found some pumpkins.
All
not
day
too far
on
from
that
where I
Honda.
was.
See, I'm not
I grabbed some of these
they be told they have
emeralds,
first
stuck
video.
outside. Why? I figured with a spider, I could cook all the meat I collected earlier, and to smelt some of the iron that I've mined. Once I had the iron bars, I went ahead and made myself an iron pickaxe, an iron axe as well. I also found some gold while I was down here, and I knew
See how
I was probably gonna have tons of stuff by the time I came back up, and to complete and learned on that one. My stone axe picked a I could fight these guys until they're out like this before.
I got another
I guess that's the
piece.
first for everything.
What
So I
the
quickly
goodness.
took out the mob spawner and checked the chest for loot. I had no idea what it was. And I went down mining, and that's when this fella came out of nowhere. And I was terrified because I still didn't quite understand how the Enderman's mechanics worked. I didn't want to look into more of this bluish teal stuff, which I was still so curious about. I took out this mob spawner and gathered the loot, which was a little bit better than the last one, and I continued running right past these
Okay.
things, not understanding why they were making noise. I saw some like blue fire in the distance, so I went to go check it out, and I guess I made a little bit too much noise because this happened. This thing just started shrieking and the lights went out, and I was so confused. I had no clue what was going on, what was about to happen.
That
I
picked
was
up
lost.
4.
So as one would do, I naturally backed up away from it, and everything seemed fine. It was back to normal. I found another one of these chests and looted it. I decided to go a different direction this time.
That'd be
and the
probably
same thing
too.
happened. They just started shrieking, the lights went dark, they flickered a couple times, but nothing was happening here. But then the weird noises, whatever it was, turned around, locked out, hitting it, and it wouldn't be. And for some reason,
What to? No,
he
the
was in between
cheating.
me, like sorting, and it sounded like he was right on the other side of the wall. So I did a little bit more mining in the cave and almost died a few more times. I actually got
So
snow, and it certainly didn't help that I had a creeper chasing
yes.
me. But yeah, it turns out you need leather boots. Otherwise, you can sink for dirt, and I could just walk surrounded by snow water on a ditch here. So I put down 2 chests, that way I could free up some inventory space. I had 0 cobblestone, so
Yep, I knew I was on that new
that
for this.
way I could put down some furniture.
In
I
the
needed
in-
space.
in the
And it's
inventory.
funny, I didn't feel like anything I needed.
Why?
More time. And there were tons of wildlife here. So much so that it just made more sense to start breeding them over here. So that's what I did. I set up a fence and I started luring them in one by one. Before you know it, I had a whole family of sheep in there. Now my chicken just needed a friend. So I went out, got attacked by some berries, and brought this chicken back over to the There were no chickens left behind. So once again, I couldn't bear any more loss. I was getting ready to leave when these guys showed up. I knew what they
I
were.
did the only
I
place
just-
where I
I guess
wanted
didn't
to
know why
stay.
they were here.
Told if this was the right place, they
Anyway,
told them
I
it
started
peace.
fighting them, and they were honestly my way back over towards the tree, and it worked out in my next
Oh,
to
like
the
fine.
I can get skulls from these guys anyway. I spent the next day killing wither skeletons and blazes, and I started to realize just how annoying it was to actually fight blazes. With these 2 guys, they just kept flying off every time I went to attack one. It was well worth the hassle though, because I did drop blaze rods, and you can't complain about that. At one point, there were like 4 or 5 different blazes focused on me, and it was annoying. I kept getting burned, and I couldn't actually kill any of them because I constantly had fire being shot at me. I decided to leave and just take back what I had already got. Remember earlier when I said this was the best seed?
Yeah, I'll don't.
What that was actually new for this. Josephine.
Pounds by upgrading to full.
Right, no.
He's a guy.
Yeah. No.
The same color. I grabbed this sugar cane.
I need. What that was actually new for this. Got a new. So yeah, full and
It was simply
one.
from being, I guess, a hobby which sounds unprofessional.
It was teamwork.
But if you this up. Until I googled it. On day 9, I flattened the air guys across a pig and put my bow and arrows to use. I tunnel visioned a little too hard though, because apparently there was a blaze spawner behind me.
I was there when needed
Poland
someone.
or German
Wasn't
Poland?
getting over you.
What do you mean?
To the side when I move, call you mine.
War.
And
Thank you for choosing the airline.
The Bluetooth device is ready to
If you wonder why the plane made from plastic, what the fuck you think?